Hi guys, and it's early morning where I'm from. I'm yeah, that's the chicken. Anyway, I'm doing something new. I am going to share to you this one actually. It is the Kongfeng GB Boy Color. It is a clone of the Game Boy Color. It essentially looks the same. I bought this a few years back. It cost about 1,400 pesos and it has gone up in price ever since. It is now, I think, 1,600 up to 2,000 pesos per unit. So this is the very first unit I got. I have two of them, but I'm only gonna show you one. This has 66 in 1 games built in. Um, it actually has 188, but only 66 that repeats, I don't know, 3 times. So this is the box that it comes in. This is the GB Boy Color in crystal green. There, some of the specs. Front lit screen. It's actually a backlit screen. It views much better than the GBASP, the AGS001 version. In any case, it comes in a standard box. So there's the unit. When you open it up, there's just the unit and some fair bit of I don't know if that's the manual. Well, whoever reads the manual, no one reads the manual. Aha. So anyway, here it is out of the box. The GB Boy Color in crystal green. So it has a plastic case. There's my reflection. Hello. Hello me. Good morning. So anyway, here it is, the GB Boy Color. There you go. Same button layout as the original Game Boy Color, except for the buttons look slightly different. You have the speaker up front. Game cartridge slot. The IR, I don't think it works. There are no IR LEDs here. You can actually see the clock right there, the crystal I mean. So it uses two AA batteries, which conveniently I have prepared. And no, this is not a plug for Energizer, but yeah, they're the best off-the-shelf batteries you can have where I am from. There you go, batteries in. The on-off switch is on the right side. On the left side, you have the volume, I don't know, volume adjustment, and the game port, not game port, game link port. I've seen people actually use this, and they said it works, but I haven't had the time to test it. I don't have a link cable and I don't have player 2. So there you go. It has GB Boy, of course, instead of the Nintendo logo. Why would they do that? Put the Nintendo logo on? That's just bad. Kongfeng here instead of I think the original Game Boy had Nintendo printed on the front. So the screen is a little bit off. It's a little bit squished and wider than the original. So these are the games. Once you turn it on without a game cart, it loads up the built-in games, which I think comes from that built-in cartridge up here that you can just barely see. So some people have opened the Kongfeng GB Boy and showed the internals. and they did confirm that that little board sticking up there is actually directly linked to the game card reader port. It has a switch, that one, that black and white thing, to detect whether you have a game cartridge in it or not. So it has some good games. We have Contra, Super Mario Land, Pac-Man. Some of the games I haven't played before. I played tennis, Alleyway, of course, Space Invaders, Asteroids. I played those. Battle City, Voxel. I played quite a bit. Tetris, the original Tetris for the Game Boy, which is really cool. There you go. So all the original DMG Game Boys either came with this or the Super Mario Kart cartridge. But when I bought my original DMG, which I don't have anymore, it had Tetris with it. So what happens if you pop in a cart? So here I have a few cartridges I bought surplus. Those are all Japanese carts. No one wants them where I'm from, and they're relatively cheap. Let's try this one. I don't know what game this is, but that looks like Hamtaro in the picture. This is a Game Boy Color cartridge. So let's pop that in the back. There, so it can read Game Boy Color and original DMG games. So this is football. Of course, it's a Japanese version of the cartridge. I have another one, baseball. It's still a Japanese version. I mean, hence no one wanted these things. No one can read Japanese here, but they're playable. So because they're simple to play, baseball, football. But these cartridges, the color ones, require you to read, of course, are virtually unplayable where I'm from. So I'm just showing you that the Kongfeng GB Boy can read cartridges. And I'm guessing if it were two-player, probably be able to play as long as you have two identical cartridges. So the volume gets pretty loud. Colors are okay. It's a backlit screen instead of the advertised frontlit screen on the box. One thing I noticed, if you turn it off and on again, you see that there's an artifact that remains on the screen. Not sure, maybe the refresh is not working for the screen. That's pretty common for most of the reviews I saw on YouTube for this thing. So there. So one more original DMG game card. Show you that it can read this as well. You can also adjust the colors by pressing the while the game is loading, pressing the arrow, the D-pad and B. It will adjust the colors. As you can see, I'm now in monochrome. So this game is pretty straightforward to play, but amazingly, this card actually saves your game. Someone played the game, I don't know, maybe a decade ago, and they have a saved game, which is cool, which means this cartridge has a battery and probably RAM. Okay, the yellow cartridge, the yellow card actually doesn't work. I've tried numerous times, but hey, let's try it again. Maybe this time around it'll work. Nope. So the cartridge is dead. I bought 10 cartridges, 3 for the original DMG and 7 Game Boy Color cartridges, all of which work except for the yellow one. I'll probably salvage that for the case, or maybe the chips on board. So this is a good way to relive, I guess, the Game Boy Color era. I've never had an actual Game Boy Color. During the time that they came out, I had a DMG and I was content. I only ever had a Game Boy Color in recent years just for the sake of collecting. So I don't use them, I keep them. I use this instead because this one's still available on the market for the cheap. If you break it, you can just buy another one. So yes, if you want to relive your Game Boy days, this is a good way to go about it without actually buying an original Game Boy and, well, getting it all beat up and then finding out later on that you can't get anymore. So yeah, that's the logic behind why I bought this one. The rationale, if you would, I would play games here instead of the original hardware and beat this up and keep the original for the sake of collecting. So the Kongfeng GB Boy, go out and get it. It's still available. It's still relatively cheap. Comes in this OK box. I mean, it does protect the unit. Oh, by the way, you still get the DC in port where you can have an adapter and plug it on the wall and play to your heart's content, and of course the earphone jack that they did away with the Game Boy Advance SP, which was I think it was a terrible idea, but anyway, this one works. I've tested it and it's pretty loud. So yeah, go out and get it, guys. This is a very great buy. So have a nice day. Enjoy.